Hello Disconnected fans, welcome back once again to another Spotlight session. This week we have none other than the Head of Fut DJWhitt. Thank you all for the response from last week's episode where we looked into the founder, BTEC Turtle, and this week we will look into more of the foot side of Disconnected. So Whit, thank you for being here today.
Hi. Bonjour.
Bonjour. So Whit, you were competing previously and then you've decided now to go into this Head of Fut role within Disconnected. Can you tell us all about what it was like to be a competitive player?
It was tough, extremely tough. People think that when you make the 30-0s on weekend league and obviously you hit Elite 1 or you're in Division 1 in Rivals, people think like that's like the upper echelon of the game. But then once you actually start to go into the competitive scene, playing for tournaments, trying to hit verification, and then also when E-Prem comes into it, it's just a whole nother kettle of fish. It's the caliber of player just goes up to another complete different level, and you've really got to put the work in, the effort in, and you've got to be lucky, to be honest, sometimes when it comes into competitive FIFA.
And I'm sure when you were competing, was there any amazing kind of like moments that you had, i.e. that you can tell us about?
Yeah, so probably one of my proudest achievements is that in the Manchester City E-Prem club playoffs, I got all the way to the semi-finals, which was live on the stream at the time. Played Ryan Pizzoa and managed to take him all the way to penalties, in which I unfortunately lost the game on penalties. But to take the pro player from Manchester City all the way to penalties when I was just a complete unknown person who's just turned up to the E-Prem was a big thing for me. And then probably I'd say the most second biggest thing I did was I actually appeared on Futhead Tuesday Night Football. I actually got invited personally by Futhead to appear in one of the tournaments, which is normally just reserved for pro players basically. So that was huge, and that's probably the biggest sort of tournament I've been invited to currently.
Yeah, we have the best of the best here at Disconnected for sure. So now obviously you've moved out of competitive FIFA and you moved into more of this Head of Fut role. Without going into too much detail, obviously, because it is a little bit personal to you, why did you move to this Head of Fut? And obviously you still do Weekend League, obviously you still stream as part of a Disconnected content creator, as well as also Head of Fut. But why did you move more into Head of Fut and away from the competitive FIFA?
So, as I said previously, to play FIFA competitively and to play it at a high level, it requires you to put so much time and effort into the game. And I've recently moved jobs, and the job that I'm in now, I just have no spare time in which I would be used normally to compete in. So I thought, from what I've learned last year and from what I know about the game and just how FIFA works in general, I thought it would probably be beneficial to join an org and sort of pass down what I know, pass down everything I know about FIFA and competing to help other players who maybe haven't had that chance of competing yet. And also, obviously, I've been to an E-Prem event, which is like big in itself, and appearing on Futhead Tuesday Night Football. I've played against the pros, and I play against pros majority all the time in like Division 1 and stuff. So I think I know what I'm saying, and I know what it happens in the FIFA world, in the gameplay and stuff. So I feel like, as I said, I can pass that down onto other people and really help improve people's gameplays.
I think that's a really key thing as well, is the fact of improving people, showing what you've been through, so that the pro players today that are going through the same transition that you've been to can follow in your footsteps. I think that's a really key point to really include. But yeah, as you said, in terms of Disconnected and your coaching, I'm sure you're seeing good things from our players?
Yeah, so I mean, towards the end of FIFA last year, we were starting to see massive turnarounds in players, not only just their ability, but obviously their weekend league gameplay, just the gameplay in general. There was a lot being taken on, and you could see it in people's games. Like, you could see it was they were definitely starting to listen to what I had to say, which was good. And obviously the results then followed that, which just backed that up really, to say like, look, the players are listening. And then past that, I also then managed to bring in a few other players who I actually know personally on the competitive side of things. So like on the competitive / professional side, I've managed to bring in a few lads who I know quite well, and I know how good they are at FIFA. I'm just trying to give them that push to the next level, so that basically they can try and compete and hopefully make a professional event or even an E-Prem event like I did and experience just what it's like for that one day to be treated like a professional player.
I think that's the aim. That is the aim for all of our disconnected players, hopefully, to keep on continuing with that. And I think as well, if you have a look at the history, Man City EPREM's a big part in terms of the history of disconnected, in terms of, I know you went there and a few of the players as well went there. And when I was speaking to Turtle last week about it, he said it was really interesting to find out that they all gelled together. Didn't all hate each other, they all gelled together and understood they want to compete as well. That must be such a good reason as well. I'm always asking the same questions as I did to Turtle, to have a group of players that get on together and really want to improve their craft.
It's massive. I mean, when I started the Head of Fut, obviously I turned around to Turtle and went, if you're going to want me as your Head of Fut, I want full control. Like, I want to be able to bring in my own players. I want to be able to like do the scouting. Like, I don't want to be micromanaged. Like, if you're trusting me in this role and you're trusting how much I know the game and the connections I have with people, then I wanted full control. So the first thing I did was, if I'm going to have full control, I want to bring in people who not only are good players, but people who I personally get along with, because there's nothing more frustrating than having a very good player, but you don't meet, you don't gel, is the word I'm looking for. Yeah, you don't gel together, and you butt heads quite a lot, and all it's going to do is create friction, and down the line, it's just going to hurt the team, and it's just going to hurt morale. So a big thing for me was getting players in who I know, but also people who I know are good guys. And that's what I did with our roster that we've got. I made sure that they had the ability, but I also made sure that when it comes to just talking, when it comes to like if there's a problem and I need to reach myself or Turtle, that the guys that we have will group together and help each other out. And that's a main feature of all the players I brought on, definitely.
I think that's great as well, to have that kind of team bond, like you said, and for all of them to have previous experience of competitive and then going now into expanding into FIFA 21, which is a big year, especially hopefully for Disconnected. Turtle's got some massive aspirations. I'm sure you do as well, as Head of Fut. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for sitting down and talking to me, and appreciate your time.
No problem. Catch you all later.
Thank you, Whit. Next week, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back, but this time with the player spotlight sessions, where our first player will be HX Masters, aka Jordan. We'll be diving in and seeing what Jordan is all about, why he joined Disconnected, and what he thinks about going into FIFA 21. So, until then, I shall see you next Friday. Goodbye.